coffee time. Let go. Rattling an old coffee pot this morning. Cowboy coffee time. Cowboy coffee time. Cowboy coffee time. Let go. Good morning, everybody. Hope everybody's got their coffee boiling and their beans bubbling, and that everybody's doing good, and life is good where you're at. Having a little bit of that coffee, getting rolling, and hoping you guys are good. Enjoy visiting with you every week. And say, still got hair up here. Still got plenty of hair. But just enjoying visiting with you folks. We look forward to Cowboy Coffee Time, and it gives me a little time for a break and some fun before I have to go back to work on things. I've got a new book. It's going to be called Dry Bones Are Rattling, and I'm working on it. Some more music and album in the works, putting it together. So always busy, and we're always looking to see what else we can produce and come out with, and having fun with it all. And good morning, Mr. Bob. It's good to see you, man. A long time no see. I know you've been traveling. Love those Scottish pictures too, man, when you post things from Scotland. And of course, in my book Zed, they're in Scotland, and he starts out there as a boy, and it was a lot of fun. Did a lot of research, so it appears that I know what I'm talking about. When I say something about the region, and had a lot of fun with that. His story is actually part of my family story. There was my great grandmother married, or my great grandfather, the girl that he married was a Keith, and her family goes back to Battle of Culloden, and James Keith, who was transported to the colonies and sold after he fought that battle against the King's men. And so that story about Zed is actually true in my family. They sent him to Norfolk area, and they sold him into servitude, And there's different stories. I don't know. I really don't know if he escaped it and went to the mountains. That's one story, that he escaped his indentured servitude and went to the mountains where nobody would chase him. I don't know if that's true, or he just served it out and then moved to the mountains. But the Keith family ended up in the Blue Ridge Mountains up toward Hillsville, Virginia. And then my great-great-grandfather Solomon ultimately married him. So in the book Zed, you see that story about him, and that person's story is actually our family story. But I have a lot of fun with that. Appreciate you, Mr. Bob. Everybody, I got the new book, one called Bear, is doing well, man. Getting more readers on Kindle and online than any before. Morning to my brother Mark over in Carolina. Got a little rain. Yeah, we got rain and threat of tornado stuff again. It got to 70 degrees in February again. So here comes the noise this afternoon. We're hoping it'll slide on by us. It's supposed to be some high winds, about 70 miles an hour. So I hate to see it get to 70 in February. It always brings on trouble. But I got everything battened down, and the hatches are battened, and we'll hunker down. But sure enjoying visiting with you, and enjoy all my friends across the pond. And it's been great. Masahiro Ishikawa, a friend of mine, I call him Masahiro-san. San is a denotation of, honor to somebody. And he plays bluegrass music in Japan. And he's comes on here. It's midnight in Japan now, a little after midnight. And sometimes he's on here, and sometimes he watches later. But so happy to, like I said last week, that Barnes & Noble is selling picked up two of our books in the Blue Mountain series. They picked up Blue Mountains of Dan and Clinging to Dirt, Breathing Air. And I'm like, come on, guys, pick up the other five, or six, or four of them. I'm working on one called Dry Bones Are Rattling. That will be this next book. And I've got a book called Ponies and Guns in the works. It'll come out next. I don't know yet. I was thinking about a song this morning that Waylon was played. They played it for Waylon. One of the reasons I moved to Nashville in 1980 was that a friend of mine, he was a bass player in a group called Confederate Railroad. And we were friends since 1976. We worked in a little band together and a little bit. And he knew the guys in Waylon's band. He passed the tape of mine along. And they said, Waylon, I don't know if the guys in the band said it or Waylon, that he heard it. If he did, and that he said, I mean, I wasn't there. I don't know if he listened to it or not. But they said that he said, why don't you come to Nashville? That's as good a stuff as there's going. So that's what the boys said that Waylon had to say about the music. And one of the songs was, and I wanted him to cut it, but he never did. But it was called Another Thing Coming. Take my glass off so I can see the play. I've been trying to tell you it's over, but you won't listen. You think everything's alright, but you got another thing coming. Yeah, you got another thing coming. You got another thing coming tonight. I wouldn't want to hurt you too much. You, girl, you won't listen. You think everything's alright, but you got another thing coming. Yeah, you got another thing coming. Yeah, you got another thing coming tonight. Got another thing coming, baby. You got another thing coming, girl. You got another thing coming. Oh, night. Yeah, way more. I wanted him to cut that. Wish he had. I think he'd have tore it up. But Lord, you write hundreds of songs, and one or two of them turn into hits, and a few of them get cut. Thank you, Mr. Bob. Man, I appreciate you so much. You and your wife, Miss D. Nice reviews on Amazon for me, and there's a nice, sweet lady, Mildred, over in North Carolina, and she does that. Goes on, and I appreciate her so much. She has terrible arthritis, my brother Mark was telling me, and she goes on and types some of that in, and Lord, I don't expect her to do that, but she does. And I was going to send her a free book of this one called Bear, because I thought she'd about earned one, and I've never met her, but she's a sweetheart and loves my books. And I went to do that, and I looked online, and she'd already got it soon to come out. She done gave me a good review on her. I was like, Lord, love that girl, and pray that her all that stuff won't hurt her so bad, the arthritis and all. Man, I appreciate you, Mr. Bob. Y'all are right there reading the books. I'm glad you're enjoying them. That's what we write them for, was for people to get something out of the stories. And I'm kind of following the path of my family, the clean the dirt and breathing air. We did have family, actually, aldermans that did move to Texas, like that book says, and they called it Blue Ridge, Texas, and it was the people from Carroll County and Surrey County that went down there. Most of them Carroll County, Virginia. We're a border town where I grew up, right on the state line, But so I'm kind of following my family's story and then making up stuff, But they did move to Texas and Nebraska, and they did roam the West, some of them, And they went in a wagon train in 1856 to what they called later Blue Ridge, Texas. It's northeast of Dallas, Texas, and most of them died of the fever. There's what's escaping my mind now. The one that wasn't cholera, but and that hit everybody, the wagon train, when they got there. But a lot of them survived, and there's still alderman family people of aldermen still in Blue Ridge, Texas today in that region. But anyhow, just kind of following that. And stories my grandparents told me were kind of the basis to start it all, and having fun with it. I don't write a whole lot of sad songs. I've never been a sad person. I've written a whole lot of barroom songs, but I ain't a drinking barroom person, hanging out in bars or nothing. I kind of always didn't like playing bars. I like playing festivals and family stuff, more, because I grew up with that, And I didn't grow up with a bunch of drinking around me, mostly, and so I didn't get into that. So I don't write a lot of drinking songs either. But I wrote this song. I was hoping Willie Nelson would do it. I taped it to his bus window one day. Songwriters will do crazy things. We ain't scared. And it of course, had Loretta Lynn's label on it. So obviously they knew Loretta Lynn, where they didn't know me. But it was about 1984, and his bus was sitting out by the old Hall of Fame up on Music Row. They moved it downtown to a big new building now, Country Music Hall of Fame. But Loretta's office was in the old CMA building, and right there on the corner, his bus was sitting, and I thought, this song would be good for him, and nobody answered the bus door. I went, well, I'll tell you what, I went back and got me some Scotch tape, and I taped it to the window, to the bus mirror bar, He never did call and say, I got to cut that. Maybe he hated it. I don't know. But anyhow, you got to go for it. But it was called Old Misery Today. A great friend of mine did a lot of songwriting with Guy Clark. And he sang the demo for me to Berlin Thompson. He's a great guy and a great songwriter. It was called Old Misery Today. There's no light this morning, even with those golden sun rays. Lord, I know I've never seen a morning quite so mean. Oh, now have old misery today. I'll have old misery today. Oh, the pain that don't seem to go away. Lord, I know I've never seen a morning quite so mean. Oh, now have old misery today. Why have old misery today? All the pain, it don't seem to go away. Lord, I know I've never seen morning quite so mean. Whoa, now have old misery today. Have old misery today. Calling now that wants to record that song. Anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed it. This just keeps it falling down on me here. There we go. All right. Hope it didn't make you dizzy there. The phone fell over. Yeah, I'm mostly known to write the more happy songs. That real good, feel good song, than those sad songs. I write more of those, And then Mel McDaniel's one of the first hits that ever got to do. But anyhow, about 1988, I had my first hit ever. And that was after writing Good Gracious since 1965 as a kid, And so overnight success is not usually what it is. And most people don't see it overnight. But enjoyed every minute of it, got to meet a lot of great people. I was talking to Donnie Skaggs the other day, one of them Skaggs boys from Kentucky. And we've recorded a lot together, did the Circle album together in the studio. And so anyhow, he was reminding me about Garth and the Garth days, And my friend Bob Doyle was his manager. Bob Doyle worked at ASCAP. It's a company that authors and composers, it pays us for airplay. And he signed me up to ASCAP when I came to town, went to write for Loretta. It's Coal Miners Music Company. And anyway, he told me one day, he said, I'm starting a new company and I got a kid from Oklahoma. And he said, I want you to get with him. And we got together. He sang demos and stuff for all of us around town. And we knew him for a couple of years, and kind of slipped up on Nashville. Actually, if you were in the music business, you would have seen, we all knew Garth. I mean, he played at the Bluebird with us and he sang our songs for demos and a great, good, nice guy. He still is. He would see me now and say, hey, man, but we got together. I was coming off a couple of great big, real hard country songs, Americana, Mo Bandy. And he was wanting to do something. I remember Garth told me, he said, man, I want to do something like John Fogelberg, James Taylor Goes Country. And went right over my head there for a minute. I was writing real hard songs like one that Merle Haggard had was going to cut and stuff. So I was kind of doing hard country when we talked about that. But what a great guy. I went over and got with him at Bob's. They call him Major Bob. He was a major in the National Guard that managed Garth. And, you know, I saw him. It was a great time in Nashville. I saw that late 80s and into 1990 right there. And we would all go to the Longhorn restaurant off Music Row and get lunch. And you said everybody was in there: Tom Paul Glacier, John Michael Montgomery, brand new kid called Alan Jackson, Tracy Lawrence. Everybody was in there, you know. And we'd go in there, and I'd see Bob and Garth sitting over there in the booth. And they were, you know, looking back now, I know they were planning the thing that became Garth Brooks and became so huge, you know. And it was a great time. And a new kid came to town, and his producer asked me to write with him. Travis Tritt was getting signed to Warner Brothers, and they sent him over to Loretta's office to write with me. And I remember him coming in and swaggered in, had that long hair, you know, and he drove in a pickup truck out of Georgia. He was living at Marietta. He still lives in Marietta. He never did move to Nashville. But Travis came in, and we wrote Son of the New South that was on this Country Club album. And great to be a part of that. And then another kid was in town. And a funny story about Alan was that there was a kid named Alan Jackson. And I knew Sherry too. She was the girl that helped with PR, and she was one of the first ones helping him get kind of known around town. And she was telling me one day at the Longhorn at lunch, she said, Alan, it was wintertime. I mean, there's some snow and everything. And Alan's pickup truck broke down. Well, he took the motor in the living room of the apartment he was renting and broke it down on the floor there. And I'm sure he put plastic down and all that, but they said his landlord having a fit. But that was Alan Jackson's first days in Nashville. And about a year later, we'd all got together and done some writing and everything. And I come out on the Country Club album, and I'd met Tracy Lawrence. He was a big fan when Son of the New South came out. He was in there one day, and a friend of mine said, "There's a kid over here just got a record deal, wants to meet you. He loves that Son of the New South song on Travis Country Club album. I mean, bring him over." And it was Tracy. Well, that year, actually, of the beginning of 1990, right in there that year, 3 new people launched, and it was Garth, Alan Jackson, Travis Tritt, and it was kind of a whole new time period kind of started. And they started a thing called SoundScan, which I think before 1990 in SoundScan, there were lots of sales that we as writers and people didn't get counted. But SoundScan is scanned across there, and it recorded that sale, because all of a sudden I got gold album. So, just saying. But that was good times, and came along. Our Country Club was one of the last albums in the business recorded that was all LP at first, and then it later became. In fact, up behind me, Travis liked those LPs, and that's what we got for up there on the wall for Country Club. So then after that, the next double platinum showed a CD in it, later. But when it came out, it was LP. And I have a single. I have one of the last singles, 45s in business, and that was Son of the New South on 45. And I've got it back there with it was on they had flip sides in, and I was on the B side of Help Me Hold On. Travis wanted to release Son of the New South as a single after Country Club, and some of the girls and people I had a friend in Warner Brothers told me, but they're a little worried about the whole Southern thing, And they were from LA. They don't get it. But Son of the New South said a great message, and that was, we're the new kids of today. We're a new South. And anyhow, back then they did 2 sides on a 45 vinyl record. And so I got one of the last ones of that the business ever did, because right then that year it changed to the CD. So a lot of great times. I mean, that was a fun time that switched in our industry and business. But like I said, I want to thank Barnes & Noble for picking up 2 of the books that we got out in the Blue Mountain series. And you guys, if you've come on and you don't know this book, one called Bear, it's a story of a bear told from the bear's perspective. And a little bit of time travel, a time traveling bear. But had a lot of fun with that. It's got Native Americans, pioneers in it. And my music is mountain music. I grew up in the mountains. Well, my hometown is down from the mountain right there. That's where my grandfather moved. He said there's too many blacksmiths up on the mountain there, and he came down a little. But I always went to my great grandparents' farms over there in Woodlawn, Virginia. We were right on the border. The border is 5 minutes from my mama's house right now for Virginia, North Carolina into Virginia. So I grew up in the mountains, even though our little town was kind of down the mountain there, off of it there. But always liked writing those songs, and I grew up playing in bluegrass festivals at the start. And they were great things. Family, a lot of family. We used to go to over the hills where Cadillacs play. Sometimes Uncle Hurley would take me over there, and when he would go with some guys, and then when I started playing out, me and Don Sawyers and Tony Johnson would go over there and play, and we'd play in those festivals and write little songs like this. Oh, I was walking early this morning up the path to our little cabin home, and I was thinking, years have passed due, time has passed on our old mountain home. And one of these days I won't need this cabin anymore. I won't need this cabin anymore. Well, looking out the cabin window, Smoky Valley stretched out below. When the angels come and take me, I'll go higher than this mountain when I go. I won't need, ain't gonna need this cabin anymore. I won't need this cabin anymore. Ain't gonna need this cabin anymore. Anyhow, played that. I know Bob Vinson, he's with us this morning, a good friend from across the pond. A great friend, and I hope to get over there when they loosen up on Who Travel and come do those shows that we were going to do in 2020. And I hope to get over there and get to meet Bob and Jan Vinson. Oh my goodness. Good Lord, Sid Randell, all you people, to see my Haley sister friends. Good gracious. Becky and Joanne and Brian Smith. Oh my goodness, Linda. Nice people. And I'd like to get to Ireland. Got friends there. Scotland. But, and I know that Bob likes the old Jimmy Rogers, and so do I. So I'll tell you, Mr. Bob, while you were watching, all around the water tank, waiting for the train, 1,000 miles away from home, I was sleeping in the rain. I walked up to a brakeman to give him a line of talk. He said, if you've got money, hoss, you won't have to walk. I haven't got one red penny, not an Indian head nickel can I show. Get off, you railroad bum. And he slammed that box door, that old boxcar door. You later. It's there somewhere. Lord, all around that old water tank, waiting for a train. 1,000 miles away from home, I was sleeping in the rain. I walked up to that brakeman, just to give him a line of talk. He said, "You got money, you hobo Lord. You won't have to walk. I haven't got one red penny, not an Indian head nickel can I show. Get off, get you railroad bum," and he slammed that boxcar door. It's them train yard blues, number 999. I slipped one of mine on the end there. But that's for Mr. Bob Vincent and Dee over across the pond in England. Mr. Bob, appreciate you. I'm so glad to see you here today. And on the last episode called The Circle, Miss Rosie Caswell, good morning. Tell Mr. Bill, oh, very howdy. Great musicians, songwriters. But on the album I did with the Haley sisters, did a duet with me on the title cut called The Circle. And wanted to do a song in honor of Jimmy Rogers, so I had written one called Train Yard Blues. Yeah, I take trouble wants to come around. I can take trouble wants to come around. But if my sweet baby Laura darling left me long, that would surely get me down. Yeah, I'm just a free soul. I like to live life on the land. I'm just a free soul. I like to live life on the land. Lord, Lord, sweet baby, I straightens up all I can. I'm going down to that train yard and lay a penny on that track. I'm going down to that train yard, lay a penny on that track. I needs a pick for my guitar, and that old train surely makes it flat. Oh, make it flat, choo-choo train. It's there somewhere. Well, now when St. Peter called me, I know where I'm going to row. When St. Peter called me, I know where I'm going to. Lord, Lord. Hey, he gonna call me up for singing. He gonna wanna hear them train yard blues. Come on. I'm going down to that train yard and lay a penny on that track. Going down to that train yard, lay a penny on that track, y'all. I need to pick for my guitar, and that old train should make it flat. Oh Lord, it's them train yard blues, number 999. Now here's where Brian A. the Smith's gonna play the slide. It's them train yard blues, number 999. Lord, Lord. there's an ending somewhere. Good morning, Mr. Brian. John Haley Smith. Sliding Smithy up there. I got the t-shirt. But Mr. Bob Vincent, so glad he could make it today. And Miss Rosie out in Oklahoma. And we got folks in Arizona. And I don't know if Ishikawa's on here in Japan. He comes on a lot, about almost 1 o'clock in the morning there. But appreciate all you guys just having fun, having that cowboy coffee time with you. Oh, yeah. Brian Smith, give me some. Had that coffee, man. Coffee going. Keep that coffee boiling and beans are bubbling. Oh, I want that slide guitar from Haley's. Brian Smith. Oh, yeah. We always called him the British Rebel here in Tennessee. But, had some great times, man. Together. Brian was over here playing music with us, me and Michael White. We were out there, Garth Brooks and Sandy, his first wife, come dancing in front of us where we was playing there on the weekends at Broncos. And had 3 dance floors and 5 jukeboxes and 17, I don't know. Big old place, you know. And we trying to make a little money for Brian to live while he's over here in the United States. And we had fun. I know many people were there. Can't name, I mean, good gracious, not just Garth, out dancing in front of us on the dance floor, watching us play. But had a lot of fun, a good time. And there's another little song I like that Jimmy Rogers did while I got Bob Vincent present. I know he loves Jimmy Rogers too. So do I. Well, I had a friend named Ramblin' Bob. Used to steal cheap gambling rob. Thought he was the coolest dude around. But I found out last Monday that they locked Bob up on Sunday. Though they got him in the jailhouse way downtown. He's in the jailhouse now. He's in the jailhouse now. Lord, I told him once or twice, stop playing cards and shooting them dice. He's in the jailhouse now. Jailhouse now. He's in the jailhouse now. Lord, I told him once or twice, stop playing cards and shooting all them dice. He's in the jailhouse now. Jailhouse now. Yeah, Brian, we did have a good time out there, didn't we? Yeah, we had to bring Brian on the camera one day. My phone says bring him on, and so you know, Comet Harry, you know, get a guitar up. We just bring him on one Thursday morning when he's here, and see if we pick it along. Guitar player that lives in here, guitar ring, you know. We did have a good time. We had, I remember when Brian and me were playing, Michael White with Jim Stevens on piano. I was talking to Jim Stevens the other day. He lives up east of us from Nashville, up by Dale Hollow Lake in Salina, Tennessee. And been in touch with him. It was his birthday this past week. And Jim was playing with us there on piano. Great guy. I remember how we had the MCA. I guess Buzz Stone, some of them were going to come out. They were looking at us for a record deal, me and Michael and the band, you know. And we just having fun. We wasn't trying to get a record deal. I don't want no record deal. I had 3 of them offered and didn't want them. Signed one with Curb, and they wouldn't do what I wanted, so I didn't do nothing. But I never did really want that, you know, try to be a recording artist. I wanted to write songs and go fishing. But and I did. But anyhow, we had a lot of fun with that. But they said, you know, I'll tell you guys that if you don't know how it works around Nashville, it's hard to keep a band together because, you know, you got Garth hiring people, you got, you know, good gracious, you got all the stars hiring people, and they can pay much more than we did. So, you know, it's hard to keep them with you. And it was funny, though. We had a meeting on Wednesday night that week before we played on the weekend. And this great guy that was working with Mike out of Muscle Shoals, he come in. He was kind of managing him and kind of looking out over the deal. He said, y'all, he told the band members, he said, now we got MCS coming to watch y'all, you know, this weekend. He said, we need everybody to commit. They're going to stay with us. And we had to start playing Thursday night. They weren't coming to Friday or Saturday night, I think. And everybody said, yeah, we with you. We got. He said, yeah, you know, we need to stick together if we get a big label interest, you know. They need to know we got a stable band. But a very 24 hours later, and I know these sweet girls, the McCarter sisters. I still talk to them today. And nothing against them. It's great. I don't blame the boys. Them pretty girls. But they come dancing in there the next night out there with Garth and Sandy and all of them, right? And, Garth Brooks dancing, and there was a McCarter sister dancing and danced right out with our fiddle player and our drummer 24 hours later. So that's band stuff, you know. That's kind of one reason they didn't want to be in a band a lot. We'd only spent how many hours, Brian? But I mean, not days and sweating in that one storage building to rehearse. Would that be the music business? Anyway, anybody that's come on, y'all, remember we got the one called Bear out here, and I'm getting more Kindle online reads of this book than ever. I think I might put a picture of an animal on every book I do from now on, you know. But having fun with that. It's a great, it's going good. Appreciate everybody. Appreciate Mr. Bob and Dee Vincent and Brian, all my folks and friends across the pond, Ishikawa in Japan, Miss Lindeberg in Norway, Linda Wainwright, she's up there. She may be Scotland, she's or England. She's gonna be mad at me now. But so many friends around the globe, and it was so funny. Last week, I actually, or a few weeks ago, I saw my first streams in China, but and Singapore and Malaysia and Taiwan, Kuwait, Guyana, South Africa, Australia. It's just fun to see your song streamed. Estonia and France. Parlez-vous français? No, I don't parlez-vous none of that. But appreciate you. And in the books, you know, I've had some books bought in the paperback in India. So I said, Taj Mahal, y'all. Hope you got your coffee boiling. Mine's getting cooled off here a little bit. We're getting close to about close out here today. But I hope your coffee is boiling for you and bubbling. And I had another song that somebody asked me to do it again. I've done this a couple of weeks now. People like this song. I wrote this song when I was in high school. And, I never have rewritten it, but they loved it. You know, got Nashville helped me get my first deal to write. They thought I might write something someday. Well, my pappy was a jailbird, my mama was a saint. My My sister was a waitress in a small town cafe. My brother was an engineer on a great big railroad line. But I was black sheep of the family. Called me the black sheep of the family. Well, the farm we owned just wasn't big enough for all of us. So I decided it was time for me to catch a bus. So I left a poor boy, and a poor boy I would stay. I was the black sheep of the family. They called me the black sheep of the family. Well, I went as far as I could go on the money that I had. I ended up in some far out town feeling kind of bad. Nobody there knew my name, I don't guess nobody cared. I was the black sheep of the family. Called me the black sheep of the family. My pappy was a jailbird and my mama was a saint. Oh, now I guess that I'm just proving what they all say. They said that I was just like my dad, but I proved it right. They called me the black sheep of the family. I was the black sheep of the family. Cause when I'm not in some jailhouse, I'm always on the run. My pappy was a jailbird, and my mama was a saint. You know what you get live? I forgot the last word. There's I'll do something in. When it's live, you're live. You do what you do. But I always say it's there somewhere. But a lot of fun visiting with y'all. We're hoping these old storms will go around us today. It hit 70 degrees a couple of days now, and on February again. That ain't never good. That's too warm. And now they got big storm warnings here in an hour or so, noon and after. And, say 70 mile an hour winds. So I got all the hatches battened down. My big day fly kite. But appreciate you guys. Always good to visit with you. And hope I've said howdy to everybody. I can't always scroll. Kevin Mason, good morning, man. Great musician here around town. And Cowboy Coffee Time. I got my friends on here. Mr. Bob Vincent, Brian Smith. They call him Slide and Smithy in England. He's famous for that slide guitar. And boy, I had him on a project I did years ago when he's in town here. And boy, he played some great slide on that, on my Train Yard Blues song. And we're friends, been friends, we're brothers. Really, we're family. And I'll tell you what, Kevin, if you want to check out the Haley sisters from England, I'll tell you what, they sing, to me, they're like Emmylou Harris times two, singing harmony together and singing together. And they're just wonderful people, too. When they're not out performing in the music business, they're doing care for people. And they've been, those people have been great that do all that the last couple of years, especially. So just great people and good friends and family. And Brian's probably going, okay. But Brian was here. I remember the day. One day, me and him was back to back at my office at Loretta Lynn's, and she came in. It's about 1989 or 90, I guess. And she came in, and she loved Brian's accent. She was like, y'all writing us a hit today? Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. But I don't know what we was doing. Probably goofing off. But we were over there from the old Rotiers. She had our office was back there. And me and Brian would go over to Rotiers sometime, get lunch. But we had a lot of fun back then. Before you came on, Kevin, I was telling about when we played at a club called Broncos in the late 80s. Garth Brooks and his first wife, Sandy, then would come in. They were dancing on the floor in front of us. And oh, good gracious, Alan Jackson, I don't know, everybody come in there and would dance with their wives. Skip Young and his first wife, she was a little sweetheart. Remember her? They'd be in there. And Darren, it was Darren something. He was trying to get a record deal. You know, there's been so many people in our town, so much great talent. We was just having a ball back then. We had a good time. And Marty Rushing, our good friend, we're going to race together again here soon, Nashville. We like racing, auto racing. We go off to those. But Marty was over there being a supporter of the band. We had a good time, you know, just goofing off. I had an MCA and started getting interested. Buzz Stone was the kid over there. And we just goofing off. We weren't looking for a record deal. So glad you guys joined me today. Glad to see you. And hope you got that coffee good and hot. Always enjoy coffee time with you. Cowboy coffee time. Donnie Skaggs had the idea. I'll start doing this. Been over, well, this will be 2 years this past November. Wow, time flies. And had fun doing it. And like I said, you guys, if you go on to Barnes & Noble, you got the new book. These are kind of like attached to my music because I'm from the mountain of North Carolina. And I have these books. This is the 6th book in the Blue Mountain series. It's called Bear. It's a story about a bear from the bears. Shows you from the bear's point of view, a time traveling bear. And there's Native Americans in the mountains around him. My family, you can't tell it's my family, but it's kind of based on my family too. The settlers are in it. And having fun with that. Working on the new book, Dry Bones Rattling. And about over halfway through it, maybe. I don't know. But having fun with it and more adventures. And we're just having a blast with all of it. For you, probably do more research time than you do writing, because you got to be sure in history and things of what you write. Somebody will come on and say, that was 100 years later. So, but I love studying. I love the research and the history. And my family, settled in those mountains in the 1700s. And the stories my great-grandparents told me launched this whole Blue Mountain series idea. We had a lot of colorful characters back in the family. Had one guy, he was a street preacher, Creed Robertson. Granny, my daddy's mama, Granny Alderman, it was her uncle, and she was his pet. She said if her mom went to get a switch after her, he grabbed her up one day and ran in the woods with her, so she couldn't get switching. But anyhow, he was a big old mountain man. I got a picture of him somewhere. He's got those boots that come up to the knee. And big old rough looking big mountain man, and he would preach on the streets, street preacher back in the 1920s. Well, they arrested him in Mayberry, Mount Airy. The sheriff arrested him for preaching without a license. Who knew you had to have a license? But my mom told me this. She said they and Granny. Said that he told them, he said, if you don't let me out of this cell, I'm going to pray up, Lord, send a storm, blow this thing down. They said it started thundering and they let the man out. Another day, and I put this this is in my book, one of the books, Blue Mountains Dan. He was well known as a speaker. People would gather to hear him when he preached and spoke, Must have had a big booming voice, I don't know. But there was a little carnival. We got a place called Veterans Park in Mayberry. And it's a little park. And there'd be circuses come in there, and the circus come in, and they wouldn't get the crowd. So they went, well, Creed's over there. He was walking around. They said, get him up there. Well, he drew a big crowd, and they started coming to hear him. People said, oh, Creed's speaking. Go down there. Well, then, of course, the Carney guy, he wasn't interested in the word. He interested in getting people. So he went, okay, you get off there now. And so he didn't. He wouldn't quit. I guess he's long-winded. But anyhow, they come up, said, and they tell this in town now. Guy went and got the lion on a leash with his whip and come to run him off stage. he wasn't budge. He started preaching on Daniel in the lion's den. So he was a character. And my mama's daddy, well, his father, that'd be my great grandfather, Kimbrough, knew him. You know, they were the same age, time, and they knew that when Creed got old, he probably was dementia. They called it, or whatever they called it then. You know, Alzheimer's or something. But it could be dangerous just because he was so strong. They said he could pull a small sapling out of the ground. You know, but the mountain sheriff, was scared to go get him. Now, when a mountain sheriff's scared of somebody, you know, but anyhow, they knew that Kimbrough, my great grandfather on my mama's side, and this guy, of course, was on my daddy's side, families. But anyhow, he knew him, and they knew that he trusted Kimbrough, and so he went in and talked to him and said, you know, to go with these guys, it's good place for you, and everything's good. So he went peaceful. But those stories started the whole Blue Mountain series. Now we got a couple picked up on Barnes and Noble. But, you know, anybody, I mean, we can all publish on Amazon, you know. But you can't get on Barnes and Noble, because as soon as they picked up 2, I started searching, like, okay, where do you submit books? Nope, you don't. They got, I guess, whoever takes care of it, they pick what they want. So I was real pleased they did. I hope they'll pick some more up. Come on now. But anyhow, appreciate all you guys. We all love all you. You're all family to us. And we enjoy visiting with you every week and having our cowboy coffee time together. Well, it's over. I got to get to work on the new book and tax receipts and documents from my company and country. And get my accountant stuff he's asking for so he can count, you know. But been working all those receipts and things. Got them about done. And just got to do all that stuff you got to do, you know. But I got to do that. So the fun's about over. Going to have to get to work. Appreciate you guys. Hope you guys will come back next week and join us. And the good Lord be good to you this week. And everything go well for you. And we appreciate you. And the Cowboy Coffee Time. Always appreciate visiting with you and seeing you on here. Thanks, friends across the pond in England. Appreciate you. Miss Lindbergh in Norway. Appreciate you. All of you are just great people. And love visiting with you.